How's it going, guys? It's Zach from Long Division Films. Today we're going to go over how to use the warp stabilizer in Premiere. You can also use this in After Effects, but for demonstration purposes, it's going to be in Premiere. Alright, so we took a little bit of sample footage the other day, which I'm going to go ahead and just drag into our timeline here. It's a little laggy because I'm doing some screen recording, but that's alright. So the first thing you want to make sure that you do is you select the exact amount of time you want to stabilize for. Warp stabilizer can take a while, especially if you're doing a longer clip, just because it has to analyze each frame and match to the previous one. So, oh man, my volume's all the way up there. Oh well, you're gonna hear some background volume. Just don't worry about that. So, we find where our clip starts. Oh, there was a creepy guy that walked through here. Yeah, there he is. See that guy? That guy right there? Yeah, he was creeping us out to the max. All right, so our shot starts here, so we can go ahead and cut our clip there. And we'll call that a good place to stop. So, as you can see, there was a decent amount of camera shake. I'm actually going to mute that audio track. Decent amount of camera shake going on there, but nothing too crazy. So what we do then is we go into our effects panel and we search for warp, and a warp stabilizer is the one that we're going to select. Drag it onto our clip, and then it's going to do this thing where it says analyzing in background, and I'm probably going to cut the video here until it's done analyzing. Alright, so once it's done analyzing, you'll see it throw up this thing that says stabilizing on your clip, and then it'll automatically crop itself in. That's because any time that you use the warp stabilizer, it is going to crop your image in at least a little bit to compensate for the black areas when your image gets shifted around. So by default, it's going to be set to smooth motion 50% and the method of subspace warp. I've always found it best to keep it on subspace warp, if I can speak. It just looks the best. The other ones end up kind of giving it a very clunky look and a clunky feel to it. Framing, stabilize, crop, auto scale. That's what we want to stick with. If you do stabilize only, it's just it ends up throwing kind of little edges of frames all over the place. Not what we want. And smooth motion, of course, is what we're going to be using for this one. What no motion does is if we had a shot that was supposed to be a tripod shot that maybe we didn't have a tripod for, we were doing handheld. No motion is when your camera is not moving and you don't want it to look like it's moving. So this one, since we were trying to kind of recreate a dolly shot of sorts, we want to use smooth motion. So smoothness by default is set to 50%. I usually find that's a good place to start. So when we play it back here, we can see that did a really good job of taking a lot of that shake out of there. I think that was actually probably the perfect amount of smoothing. Usually you have to adjust this just a little bit, but if I bring that up to 100, you'll see it'll go into stabilizing again, and then it's going to crop it in even further. Yeah, now it'll technically be smoother, but you're also losing a lot more of your image. So if you know that you're going to have a little bit of a shakier hand, or anything that you think might need more stabilization, then go ahead and plan shooting a little bit wider, because you're going to have to crop it in like that. Just one thing to be extremely careful of is that if you're shooting on a digital SLR or really any camera with rolling shutter issues, I know GoPro has some pretty bad rolling shutter as well, just be ready for that and try not to move the camera too quickly from side to side so you don't get that jello effect, which I talked about in our Long Division Fridays first episode. You can see a little clip of what happens there. So that's it right now for the warp stabilizer. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I will get to each and every one of them. I promise. That is my promise to you. And yeah, my name's Zach with Long Division Films, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one.